Okay, so today is the last class, and I would like to go with a few of the small things that we have not covered, like using filters. So filters are usually used for input validation. So there are various way of using filters, and there are many inbuilt filters already there in PHP, which we will be using. We'll also go through CSP. So we have seen and talked about CSP lots of time, but we could not go through how we can create a CSV file or how we can read from a CSV file. So we'll try that also. Then we have a concept of callback function. So one callback we saw in JavaScript or jQuery, where the function was one function is called within another function and it is executed once the first function completes its task. Now here also in PHP, we will go through callback function where one function can call another function to operate on some parameters. Now, so let us start with the day. Filter. So let me give one form.html and then form action equal action to filter.php. Let me go with get method itself. Then input type equal to text, and then name equal to suppose type equal to Shubham, value equal to. Now this is a small form just to demonstrate how data goes from one form to another page, and on that another page we'll be using a filter for validating the input. Now there are two things. One thing is already HTML5 also have some filters. I can use type equal to email, and in that case, if someone inputs an invalid email, it will give the prompt that your email is invalid. Okay, so like so if I type here something like BAC and try to submit it, you can say it says that please include an @ in the address. So it means it's simply in simple words, it says that your email is incorrect. So that is one. Now second part is we will use the server side validation. So and additionally there are something like required. So required means unless someone inputs the value, the form won't be submitted. Okay. So if I try to submit it, it will say that please fill out the field. So these small validations are there, but still someone can surpass that uh, validation, HTML validation, because it is on the client side and it is easy to manipulate things on the client side. Okay, so so server side validation comes into picture in that case. So let us try with first getting the value. So PHP and echo dollar underscore get, because we are using get method, and then the name of the field. So name of the field is email. So email. Okay. So I will put a placeholder so that you understand what this place is. So I have to enter email here. So suppose I type the correct email. So it is showing the email. Now I can type that also and it will be submitted. So it is getting submitted. Only thing is, on the server side, I need to validate whether this is a valid email or not. So let us start with the validation process. So let me save this in dollar email. Now, first filter that we will see is, so there is a function filter underscore var. So that is the function. It takes first parameter as the variable, so email, and then second parameter it takes at the type of the filter that I want to apply. So first filter that we will be applying is filter underscore sanitize underscore email. What does a sanitize email does is, basically it will try to remove any invalid special character that is there in the email. So it strips out like any HTML tag if somebody has written, or any character which is not allowed in the email. Now after that, so once this is done, so let me save it in sanitized email. Then finally I will use the validation. So valid equal to filter underscore var, and then this time I will use the sanitized email, and I will use the filter underscore validate email. So this time I am using the um, um, filter underscore validate email. It will try to validate whether the email is valid or not. If it is valid, then it will return the email itself. Okay, or otherwise it will return false. So let me print the var dump. So var dump dollar valid. Now let us run this. So suppose we print here at the rate cdat.in. Now this is a valid email. So you can see that it is returning me same email, and it is saying that it is type of a string with 13 character. Okay. Now let me change it, and this time I will put only an. If I click on submit, it is saying that this is a invalid. It's not an email. So Boolean false. And last, suppose I use at the rate cdat.in here. I click on submit. So you can see that it removed the special character less than and greater than, and I got the final string as anoop at cdat.in.br. Now, in that case also, this is an invalid email. So what we have to do is, we have to compare what is returned by dollar valid and what was entered by dollar email. So we can see that if dollar valid, if dollar valid, $valid equal to $email. So in that case, echo valid email, else echo valid email. Now I simply have to rerun this, and you can say that it is giving me invalid email because whatever the user entered and whatever valid email we got after making the sanitization, both are not matching. Okay, so this is one way. Now this is um, this is done. Now second thing is, any user, they may give you a valid email like um, anup@cdac.in or even a@b.c. Now a@b.c, syntactically it is correct, but does such email exist? Or maybe that domain itself doesn't exist, b.c. So in that case, how can we check whether the email is valid or not? So for that we have a function. So that function is uh, check DNS RR. So what does it do is it checks from the DNS whether for that given domain a mail server exists or not. Okay. So if a mail server exists, it means that is a valid email address. If mail server does not exist, it means it's an invalid. Now, how do I get the domain first? Because I have to get, like, email is a@b.c. So I need to get that b.c. So that domain, there is a function explode. Explode comma $valid. So I got the email, and first I sanitized it, means I removed all the useless characters, and then I validated. Now, if it is a valid email, it will return me the email, or otherwise it will return me the Boolean value false. So I am checking that if $valid, so it means $valid is the validated email, or let me write it here, validated email, validated email. Let me write it and so what I'm trying to do is I'm checking if validated email exists means it is not false, and it is also equal to what the valued user input. Okay, so if user input a@b.c and then some HTML tag, so you can see here the email is anup@cdac.in.br because he had entered one br, a special line break HTML code. So a special character was removed and all was remained is in BR. So that's why I'm checking that whether it's a valid email. And second, if the valid email is equal to whatever was sent by the user, this value. So if both conditions are correct, then I can say that, okay, this is a valid email, or if condition is not correct, I can say that it's an invalid email. But the question is that he may write that a@b.c, and b.c means b.c is a domain, like anup@cdac.in, and cdac.in is a domain. Now, similarly, b.c is a domain, but does b.c exist? No. So it means I have to check whether that domain has an email or not. So for that, what I am doing is first I need to get the domain. So domain is like anu @cdac.in. If this is the email, so this part is our domain. So this part is after @. So what I am doing is I am breaking the validate email into two parts and divided by @. So basically, in if you have studied Java, in Java you would have learned about a string tokenizer. So which breaks a string into a small tokens depending on the special character provided or any character provided. Okay. So like here I am providing that break the string based on @. So it will break into two. First will be Anu and second part will be cdac.in. Okay. Now suppose if I had broken using dot. So if I break using dot, then first string will be anup@cdac and second string will be in. But I don't want dot, so that's why I use @. So explode returns an array of tokens separated by @. So since it will return me an array, so array will have two values. One will be Anup and second will be cdac.in. So second value I have to select. So in the array, how do I select second value? Yes, 0 and 1. And then I will check the check DNSRR for this domain. And what kind of record I want from the domain service? I want the mail record. So mail record is mail exchanger, MX. And I can put it inside if. So if that mail exists, then echo valid email, else echo invalid. So first validation, this validation was only based on the structure, whether a structure is matching or not, like a@b.c. Now the second level validation is based on the existence, that whether this domain, this email exists or not. For that I am checking whether a mail exchanger is there for that domain or not. So mail exchanger is basically the mail server for this domain. So if for a domain like b.c mail exchanger doesn't exist, then it will say that okay, it is an invalid email. But if it exists, then it will say valid email. Okay, so let us run again. Like this itself I will run. Oops. Okay, this example I have to remove. So you can say that it's an invalid email because cdac.inbr does not exist. Okay, now let us remove the br and then run it. And then it is anup@cdac.in and it's a valid email. Okay, now suppose if I write a@b.c, or let me go back. And if I write a@b.c, so it will go to submit and it will say that it's an invalid email. So of course the syntactically it is correct, but since the domain name doesn't exist or the mail server for this domain name does not exist, it will say that this is an invalid email. Okay, so is this fine? Okay. Now So this was example using form. Next time we won't be using form. We will simply take any variable and check whether it is valid or not. So let me comment it. So this was for email validation. Now for any normal string, okay. So like suppose that one string is string equal to hello. Now for any string validation, usually what do we check? Uh, we check whether the string length is greater than 0, because somebody doesn't, without typing anything, he has submitted the form. So for that, we will simply check if a string length of $str is greater than 0. And then if it is greater than 0, it means the string is not empty. So user has input something into the string. So in that case, then we sanitize it. So dollar sanitized string equal to filter underscore var, and then what do I have to filter? So let me pass the variable that I need to sanitize, and then I will use filter underscore sanitize string. So if any special character is there, it will sanitize the string. So it will remove it basically. So this is the default sanitization for any string. Now, you cannot validate a string unless you have a pattern for a string, which we will later see in regular expression. So for now, just if it is a normal string, all we have to do is sanitize the string. Okay, next. So there are various filters. So it's difficult to remember all, but upon uses you will learn. So like for URL, so like suppose http cdat.in. So this is an URL, and I want to validate it. So for this $valid equal to filter. So same function is used, filter underscore var. All that changes is the name of the filter. So filter underscore sanitize URL. So I can sanitize it first. So instead of valid, let me put it sanitize URL, and then I will validate. So valid URL equal to again filter underscore var $san URL, because I have already sanitized it. So I will use the sanitized URL, and then I will apply the URL filter. So filter URL, validate URL. Now let me print var_dump. So var_dump $valid URL. So if it is a valid URL, so then it will, the same value will be returned, or otherwise false will be returned. Okay. So like if I print this, you can see that the string and the value has appeared. It means it is a valid URL. Now suppose instead of that, if I write at cdat.in or that.in, let's see if this is a valid URL. So this is not a valid URL. So it says that Boolean false. Okay. Now, so just for testing purpose. So this was URL. So these are the two URLs that I took. One was valid and one was invalid. Next. Next we'll try is a IP address. So dollar IP address equal to, suppose I write 192.168.1.10. So filter underscore var dollar IP address. So validate IP, and then I will write valid IP equal to, and let me print it. So var valid IP. So if this IP address is valid, then it will return the same IP address, or otherwise it will return false. So let me print it. So it's a valid email address. So therefore it has returned me the address. Now let me take another invalid email address. So in that case, $IP address equal to, suppose 192.168.256.10. Now in this case, since individual section cannot, it maximum goes from 0 to 255. So since I have written 256, this is an invalid IP address. So in that case, it gives me the Boolean false, because it's a false. Okay. Next is IPv6. So next is IPv6. So for IPv6, $IPv6 equal to, I will take some IPv6 address like 2001 colon ABCD colon 1. Suppose this. I will use $valid IP equal to filter underscore var $IPv6, and then second one will be filter IP, validate IP, and third one will be I will add a flag for IPv6 so that it knows that I have to filter a IPv6. By default, it filter underscore validate underscore IP, it will validate only a IPv4. So for IPv6, I'm explicitly adding the flag that you validate this. So after that, I will print var underscore dump and $valid IP. So now, is this a valid IPv6? Yes, this is a valid IPv6. Now, so it is returning me the string. Now let me make some change, like let me remove one of this, and now again see if it is a valid. Okay. Instead of this, I will again repeat this. Control C. And remove one of this and see if it is still it is valid or not. So you can see it's false. It means that this is an invalid IP address, IPv6 address, in fact. Okay, so this was IPv6. So similarly, there are multiple filters which we can use for validating this. Now, even for integers, float, there are filters, like suppose int equal to 10, and then dollar valid int equal to filter underscore var, and then dollar int, and then dollar filter, suppose. So in that case, you can see that if suppose someone has entered a telephone number or age or any number that you need to filter. So in that case, you can use this filter. So var uh, dollar valid integer. So if it is not an integer, then it will return false. If it is an integer, so then it will return the integer value. So like currently it's an integer, so it will return me integer 10. But if I write 10, if I write 10.5, so it's not an integer. So in that case, it will return me Boolean false. So that is integer filter. Similarly, there are float filter, there are Boolean filter. So all will change its last. Instead of integer, it will be Boolean. Instead of uh, Boolean, it can be float, double, and so on. So function remains the same, only the filter changes. Now integer, suppose any integer is there which you want to be in a particular range. Okay, so that is another question, like someone's age, you want to put it minimum 0 to maximum like 120. So if anyone has entered age more than that, it should be invalid. Less than 0, it should be invalid. So we can also specify a range. So for that, how do we do it? So dollar valid integer equal to filter underscore var dollar integer, then filter int, and then we need to specify options. So options, there are multiple options, so we'll use an array. So array options. So what are the options? So options are another array. So array in which I can specify minimum underscore range. So min range is suppose 0, and max underscore range is suppose 120. So it means any number between this is valid, and apart from this it will be invalid. So let me print it. So var dump dollar valid int. Okay, so what did I do? Up till here you already knew validate integer. After that I added options, and in the options I added two value. One is minimum range and one is maximum range, and both are array. Okay, so now let us see. So you can see integer 10 is a valid integer because it falls under the range of 0 to 120. Now suppose I put it here 130, which is outside of the range. In that case, it will tell Boolean false because it doesn't fall into the range of the numbers that we have defined. Okay, any question till now? So basically, for filtering, we have only one function, filter underscore var, which takes parameter, first parameter as the entity on which you want to apply the filter. That entity may be an integer, float, IP address, MAC address, any number, a string, email, URL, anything it may be. So it will take first entity, and then what filter you want to apply. And some filter may have additional options, like here in integer you can specify additional options like what will be the minimum range, what will be the maximum range. So, or like here in the validation, I had extra flag which was to validate IPv6. And important part is that we should always first sanitize it so that any special character is removed, and then we should validate the entity. So that was filter. We'll see a few more, but Mansu is asking that, sir, we want user to input only even. How do you validate even? Percentage 2 equal to 0. For that, filter is not required. MX is for mail exchanger. So I think you forgot. So if you remember this picture, here I was saying that for any mail server, what is the IP address? So that is stored as a MX record. So mail exchange record. So it holds the IP address of the mail server for this gmail.com. Okay, so that is the MX record, means mail exchanger record. Okay, so filter is done. Filter is basically for validation of certain entities, and mostly based on their uh, syntax, that whether it is a valid integer or not, or valid float or not, valid URL or not. Now, next thing is uh, callback. Someone next question is, what is DNS RR? So this is a function, check DNS RR. So DNS is domain name system. Domain name system is whatever domain is there, like google.com. For that, DNS saves the IP address of that domain. So like google.com and whatever IP address is for that domain. So that is domain name system. And RR is for resource record. So resource record, because DNS stores various information regarding google.com. Like not only IPv4, it will be storing the mail server, or it may be storing for IPv6. So for those, every record is called a resource record, RR. So that is DNS RR, DNS resource record. Okay, let's go to our callback function. So callback function in PHP is that we need to call a function from another function. How do I do that? So for array, there is already one function. So like example, suppose I create an array. So array, and then some move, 12.1 and okay. Suppose this is an array and I want to know the um, I want to know the data type of each of the variables. Okay. Now to do that, one way is that I can use a for loop, and then for inside the for loop I can get the value. So let me do that. For each uh, dollar array as dollar a, and then for dot a there is a function get type. So get type, and then um, I can pass dollar a, and all those types I will store in another array. So like array 1 equal to array, and all the types I'm storing in another array. Now I can print r another array. Okay. So basically what I did was I took one array, and then one by one I am reading the value from array and getting the type. And that type I am storing it on another array. And once the loop has run completely, I am printing that array 1. Okay. So let us see this first. So you can see first is strings, integer, double, and boolean. Okay. So string, integer, double, and boolean. So this is the usual way that you can do. Now second way is using callback. So for callback, for array there is an inbuilt function. So array function is so I will store everything in second array. So second array equal to array underscore map. Now what I have to map, so that is the second parameter. So I have to map array, and map on what? So map on a either user defined function or your user defined function, or um, even already existing function. So like here, let me write get type. Sorry. Okay. So basically I am passing one by one the value of array to get type, and whatever values are returned, it will be stored in dollar array 1. So print underscore r dollar array 1. So basically I am calling one function from another function. So in the as a parameter. So same thing you would have seen in remember geolocation. So in geolocation, I was using navigator.getLocation.showPosition, and inside showPosition, basically I was calling uh, sorry, get position, and inside get position I was calling show position. Okay, so same way here also, array map is one function which maps array elements to a function, another function. Like here I am mapping to get type. So one by one each element will be read, passed to this get type, and whatever value comes, it will be returned to dollar array 1. Let us run this, and you can say the output is same. So instead of writing like 3-4 lines in one function, my work is done. Now this is I used get type directly. Okay, I can also use another function like function my function, and then it will take some parameter like dollar variable, and it will return type of the variable. So like get type var. So instead of directly passing an inbuilt function like get type, I am using my function in which I am returning the type of the variable. So in that case, I will write here. Let me comment it so that later you understand this. So instead of using get type directly, I can call my own function. So let's see. So I'm not directly calling get type, rather I'm calling my function, which is in turn returning get type. So all I meant to say that not only we can use inbuilt function, we can also define our own function and then call from here. Let us see this. And it is returning the same thing. Okay. Now, how to use this callback function? So that is the main thing. So for that, we'll see an example on the filter itself. Okay, so let us use this callback function and design our own filter function. So we'll start with a small thing like dollar filter underscore suppose IP, and it takes dollar IP as input, and then what it will do, it will return filter underscore var, and then dollar IP filter underscore validate IP. So this is a function filter underscore IP, which is filtering addresses. Now, second I am taking is email, and then here I will change it. Here I will change it to dollar email, and instead of IP, I will change it to this IP name. I will change to email. So now I have, and so on. I can keep adding functions. So currently I have only two functions for filtering IP and filtering email. Now I will create a main function from where I will call these functions. Similar to here, like here, the main function is filter underscore var, and then it calls different other functions like filter underscore sanitize, string, validate, email, which on behalf of filter var do the all the action. So here also I will create a master function, then filter. So I will only give the name filter, which takes two parameters. First one is the suppose function, and second one is the string. Okay. Or for now let this, or ulta, because here also we were first giving the string and giving the second parameter was the function. So here also first we will give the string and second parameter will be function, and then what it will return. So it will basically call function on that string. So basically it is equivalent to, suppose if I have to write this so suppose the name of the function is filter IP. So here it will come filter IP, and inside whatever string that I am sending. So let me call this. So dollar suppose email equal to, or we will directly write the function. So I'm calling a function filter, which is my user defined function. Then I'm passing a email address like no at cdat.in. And then what is the name of the function? So the function name is basically filter underscore IP. Suppose now let us put it in var dump so that I see what is it returning. Now, what do you expect? So basically, I'm giving a string and passing it through filter IP. So it will go to here, filter function, okay, and it will call the function filter IP. So it will come here, filter IP, and then it will try to validate whether it's a valid IP or not. But I have supplied Anup at cdeck.in, so of course it's not a valid IP. So it should return Boolean false. Okay, so this is our expectation that it will return a Boolean false. Let us see if it is returning false or not. Yes, it is returning a Boolean false. Now let us change this filter to, instead of IP, to email. And then in that case, it will be a valid email. So it should return the string itself. So and now you can see that um, the same filter which was working in build function, we declared our own function. So, so in that way, callback can be used for creating our own filter. Okay, questions? So callback function is nothing but calling one function from another function. Like here, the example filter, and the parameter itself is a function. The parameter is a function which I am calling. So one I am passing the string, and another I am passing the name of the function which will be called. So inside filter, these two are the functions which will be called. Okay, questions? Call is simple. So like I called filter and then Anup at the rate cdeck.in and filter underscore email. So it went here to the filter. What is the string? Anup at cdeck.in. And what is the name of the function? Filter email. So it will call filter email because here it is written. So basically this here, it is equivalent to calling filter underscore email, and in the bracket it will send the Anup at cdeck.in. So it is equivalent to this. So name of the function, which is filter underscore email, so filter underscore email, and a string which is Anup at the rate cdeck.in, so a string Anup at the rate cdeck.in. So I'm calling this filter underscore email. Now it goes to filter underscore email and check whether it is a valid email or not. Sorry, it's a valid email or not. If it is a valid email, it will return the email itself, or otherwise it will return the Boolean false. So it's a valid, so it will return the email, and then finally this will please mute yourself. Okay, so this is how the flow works. No, where dump is checking what is the return type. I can also write here echo. I can also write here echo. So if you see the change, earlier it was also telling the type of the variable. Now problem with this echo is that if suppose it's an invalid address like this, so in that case false means blank. Now you do not know what it has returned. So that's why I used var dump. Var dump is basically for um, printing the type and value of a variable. So var underscore dump. Now if it is an invalid email, at least you can see, okay, boolean false. Okay. So that is callback function. Now next. So next we'll go to regular expression. So regular expression dollar, suppose I have a PAN number. This is a PAN number, and basically I want to validate whether this is a valid PAN number or not. Now filters, they have fixed type, so it has email, URL, IP address, MAC address, integer, float. But PAN number, it's like our unique thing. So for these kind of validation, we need to write our regular expression, that what will be the structure of a PAN card. So how a PAN card number is written. Now let me start with the regular expression. So regular expression regex equal to, so first thing first, it is written in between these two. In between these two I have to write. Now if you see the structure, it says that first five characters are character, next four are digit, and last one again is a character between A to Z. So these may be between A to Z, and this is from this is basically a digit, and finally last one is again a character. Now to denote a character, we denote it in a square bracket, between a square bracket. And what character can it takes from A to Z? So basically I'm writing that from A to Z character can be used, but this A to Z, it only so this entire thing, it only denotes one character, but I want this kind of five characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for 5 character, we use curly brace, and inside curly brace I will write 5. Done. So from A to Z, there should be 5 characters, and then from 0 to 9, there should be 4 characters, and finally again A to Z, last one character I want. Okay, so this is my regular expression for a PAN card. So if I want to print, sorry, if I want to validate, and the regular expression is like first 5 characters is from A to Z. Now suppose you are also allowing a small character. So in that case, you will have to add A to a small z. Here also A to a small z. Okay. So if you are allowing a small characters also, then you can write a small a to a small z. Or there is another way of saying this is, I can write here I. So I is a flag which tells that do a case insensitive search. Okay. So insensitive search means either it is a capital or a small letter, both are valid. Okay. Now another one is, function is preg underscore match, and in it first I will pass the pattern which is regex, and second is the value, which is $pan. And let me print what is the value of the this regex match. So this p-res match is basically a pattern regular expression match. Okay, so pattern regular expression match. So here I'm passing the regular expression, and then I'm passing the value on which I have to do the matching. Now if a match happens, it will return 1, otherwise it will return 0. So let us see. So regex .php. So you can see the value is 1, it means it is matching. Now suppose let me change this 4 to O. So it's not a 0, it's O. So in that case, ABCD is fine. This is total 5. But after that, 0 to 9, they are not 4. They are not 4. They are only 3. So this is a mismatch. So let us see what does it print. So it says that 0. So it's a matching array, matching error. So in that way, I can match whether this PAN number is valid or not. Now another way of matching is using our original filter. So I can say $valid equal to filter underscore var, and then inside that first I will pass the PAN number which I want to validate. Then I will use filter underscore regex. So filter underscore validate underscore regex, and then I need to pass the regular expression. So for that I will use options. So array options array, and then regex p, and what is the regular expression is $regex. Okay, let me have this. So basically I want to apply the regular expression on PAN, and then I have used a filter underscore validate underscore regular expression, and then I am providing options because I need to provide the regular expression also for checking whether it is a valid PAN or not. So regular expression is provided through an option. So option regex p equal is regex $regex. Okay, so this is, and then I can print the valid PAN. So var dump valid. So in that case, since this PAN is not valid because this character is O, it should return a Boolean false. But if I change it back to 4, it will become valid, and in that case it will tell me the value. So it's a string of 10 character, and this is the value. So in that way, filter can also work, and preg match can also work. So this was our first example using PAN number. Let us move on to another regular expression example. So in that way, I think if any number-based pattern is there, of course you can search. So just you have to specify which character set are allowed, and then what will be the count of it. And similarly, what digits are allowed and what will be the count of it, and so on. Now, suppose $mobile regex, suppose. Now, what should be the this? So I can write first. Suppose I will write 6 to 9, and it will be 1, because first character of a mobile number is a digit which will lie between 6 to 9. Less than that it cannot go, and the remaining will be from 0 to 9, and these are remaining 9. So this is a regular expression for a mobile. So mobile's first number will be basically a digit between 6 to 9, and the remaining can be anything between 0 to 9. So total 1 and 9, total 10 digit in a mobile number. So this is like regular expression for mobile number. Then there is another is dollar string equal to, suppose I write hello world. Now, usually there are many scenarios where we want any string to start with a specific string. So for starting with a specific string, we use this character, and then after that we write the word using which I want to start it. So it means that this will always start from hello. Okay, so let us write a preg match. So preg match, and then dollar regex, and we print this echo. So echo preg match. Now if you see here, it is starting from hello. So basically it's a valid string. So the pattern match should return 1. So it is returning 1. Now if I change this hello to hello, so in that case, if you see, it will return 0 because my string is not starting from hello. Now this was for starting. Regex for, suppose I say start. Now second, I can write regex for ending. So for that I can write /I, and then suppose void, and dollar is for ending. Okay, so dollar is for ending, means it should end with world. So whatever in the starting, I don't care, but the ending should be with a word. So let us save this. Okay, Rishabh is asking use of caret arrow in like line number 3. So this is for the starting. So starting means the whatever string we are using for matching, that should start from hello. If it is not starting from hello, then the pattern will return 0. So pattern match will be 0. So this was starting from hello, suppose, and this is ending using world. So before that, suppose I write here, hi, my name is world. Okay, so starting anything may be, but ending should be with the world. And similarly in the first case, ending anything, first word should be hello. That was, this is for first word, and this is for last. मैं ले लूँगा बाद में. So this is for ending. Now let us see if it is matches. Yes, it is matching because the pattern is ending with world. If I write world 1, then it won't match because at the end is world 1, not world. So in that case, the matching is 0. So this is starting and ending. Now someone will say that what about in between? So for that, so this I will write as end. So regular expression end. And then the third one is I can use dollar search equal to suppose any I want like is, and I want it to occur in between anywhere. So starting, ending, it should be there in the it should be there in that pattern. So regular expression equal to double quote, and then we simply write it inside the curly braces. So curly braces means basically this pattern will be searched if it is there. So then pattern match will give 1, or otherwise it will give 0. So echo preg match regular expression string. Now suppose is there. So is there inside the string. So it should return 1. So it is returning me 1. Now if I remove is, I remove is, still now it is 0. If I put is at the end, still 1. If I put is at the starting, still 1. Now suppose I change this to his. Okay. Now, so still is. Now, can you see here that is now part of his? Is not a word. Okay. So it means this is matching even though it is part of another word. Now to avoid that, so regex exact. So this is regular expression exact check. Last is dollar regex equal to and in between I will write suppose is. So what does it say that /b is basically for word boundary. So it's a boundary of the word, either starting, ending, or in between. So /b is boundary of the word. So it says that is may be anywhere on the word boundary. So it may be in the starting, at the end, or in between. Now let us print this. So now if I print it, now it is giving me 0 because his is another word. So is, it contains is, but not as a word. It is part of a word. Okay. Now, but if I remove h, so it is only s, then in that case it will return 1. I will again repeat. So when I am directly putting any search keyword inside this square bracket, it means that search this pattern wherever. So even if it is part of a word like his, the return will give 1. But I want that if it is an independent word, then only it should be it should return 1. So in that case, I am using word boundary /b. Okay. So that was regex word boundary. The names I am changing so that you understand when you refer this page that this is for a starting, ending, exact match, word boundary, and so on. Now, next part is that suppose I want to write for the email. Now, regex email. So, email is basically um, something at the rate something dot something, basically a at the rate b dot c. So, let me start. Now, I can write like this: a to z, then a to z, then 0 to 9 dot hyphen underscore. These are the allowed character in a email address. Plus, so plus is one or more. You may be remembering this from DTD, where I told you that asterisk means 0 or more, plus is 1 or more. So it means this. It means these characters should at least appear once. So plus, then at the rate, and again these value, and one dot, and again these values. I will write plus, so that at least one character and otherwise more than one character. Now, same thing I want to write. So regex email 1 equal to, so I can write slash w. So w is for any character. So plus at the rate slash w plus dot slash w plus. So this is another way of representing an email. So I am writing one slash w is basically equivalent to this entire thing. So that is equivalent to slash w word characters at the rate, again word characters dot something. So that is a another regular expression for email. Now, so in that way you can write next regular expression. Now, before we close, I will just give you I will give you an address of a website, regex101.com. So this is a website, regex101.com, where you can not only write your regular expression, also explanation will be given so that you understand where you are making the mistake. Okay. So like suppose slash b, then I write is, and again slash b. And here the flags are there. Flags are there, G and M. G is for global, M is for multi-line search, and I for case sensitive. So I can disable two and only write I. So this is my regular expression. And then I can write here a word like his. Now you can see that it says that your regular expression does not match the subject string. So it is saying that whatever you have put as the test string, it is not matching with the regular expression that you have given. But suppose I write, is this me? Now you can see that it is saying full match 1. So this, and also it is showing the matched character where it is matching. So is. So if you want to learn the regular expression here, the best way is just try some regular expression. It will tell you what your regular expression mean, and then it will also give you a match if you have a test string which is matching with the information given. Okay, so if you want to practice instead of writing here, the best way is go there, regex101.com, start writing your regular expression and test your string whether it is a valid string as per this regular expression or not. Okay, so Okay, so now for now we will conclude this, and in second session we'll talk about CSB. So for now the regular expression and filter is complete. Everything depends on practice. So you have to practice. One more thing which I want to mention is, like we were saying 0 to 9, and then suppose I was saying 4 word. 0 to 9 should be 4. If I write 1, 2, 3, 4, it will match. Okay, this is a valid string. Now instead of 0 to writing 0 to 9, I can write 1/d. It is for digit. /d is for digit. So that is also a valid representation of 0 to 9. So just like we wrote /w, you can see that W is matching A to Z, capital A to Z, 0 to hyphen and underscore. So these are the valid characters for /w. So same way for digit, /d is a valid digit. So you can see D matches a digit equal to 0 to 9. So this is, I think, the best way of learning a regular expression here for PHP. You can select other languages also if you require. Okay, thank you. See you at 10:45.